day on the floor here. We've had a good crowd. Attendance is up this year, about 8% from last year. Lots of great conversation going on in the halls around us, and lots of great people here at the Wheatstone booth right here on the floor. Talking with Jay Tyler from Wheatstone. Hey,
Hello.
Jay.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good. I'm gonna hold it.
Okay.
Oh. So we were talking a little bit in our video yesterday with Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
There's
Hi,
Mike.
Hi.
We were talking yesterday with Mike about Hurricane Florence and everything that's happened to you guys down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And not only what's happened to you, and of course the factory, which survived and is back up and running, and things are going there, but you've got a lot of local radio clients right there in eastern North Carolina who you've been very busy helping out.
We have. We've got the Curtis Media folks in town. They took quite a hit, total loss. You know, studios, building, rack room gear. So they're rebuilding servers now. We've got Surf Pro in there trying to clean the buildings out, removing sheetrock. The Dick Broadcasting guys in town, they had a few inches in the bottom of their floors, but right now the whole community is probably coming together to try to get everybody back on air and provide some normalcy. But these Curtis stations are probably looking at, you know, another couple months before they can get back into their original building and resume operations. So, you know, we might be broadcasting out of trailers, might be doing production work in other cities and, you know, emailing in, but, you know, eventually they'll all rebuild and it'll be great. I did get a little business out of the whole deal. You know, sorry to say, but
now there was a picture that that you guys, the Wheatstone has up on their Facebook page right now of the ambulance, as it were, their remote truck pulled up to your building, full of all of their equipment. Right?
Yeah, the local engineer is Richard Banks there, man. He's been like a trooper because he's had to deal with the transmitter sites and then the studio building. But they had a couple E1s, they had an IP12, and about 19 items they dropped off yesterday that were part of the flood. And we were able, I think, to get a couple of them going. Other ones just were submerged. But yeah, we're replacing all 7 studios with WheatNet IP now. I'm going to go drivers. The old building was traditional Autotronics built by Bob DeMuth back in the day. So it was punch blocks, big, huge multi-pair cables coming from each studio. All of that got flooded. So all the troughs and all the wire chases were, so it made sense. We're pulling all that copper out now, and we're just going to replace that, I think, with overhead Cat 5 cables. But, you know, one thing for our viewers out there, this is a unique situation because these are Curtis Media owned and operating stations in a Beasley broadcast building. So the building and all that maintenance, I'm working with the folks at Beasley, and we're actually doing, you know, all new studio furniture, and Beasley's picking up the tab for that to make sure the folks at Curtis got a good foundation to build on. So,
I didn't know they still own the building.
yeah, they own the building. They own the one in Greenville and there. So you've got 2 entities. So Mike Cooney, the VP of Technology for Beasley, he was in Fayetteville during the storm because they still have stations there. And they were okay in Fayetteville. They had like an order of evacuation, but as far as the infrastructure, that was fine. But as soon as he could get to New Bern, he was on, you know, hurricane duty in New Bern because that's their property up there. So we've got both Beasley and the Curtis guys that are affected in this.
And then if people saw the TV station, the pictures of the TV station getting flooded out, that was Channel 12 in New Bern. That was right next door to that.
Yeah, all that's in a sort of a low-lying area, and now Channel 12's broadcasting out of trailers. So they got the morning girl, she's outside in the parking lot, and then they got the producer and the weather guy all in the trailer, and I think Fox really stepped up. Their sister stations brought down some equipment, but that was another total loss. They're going to get a new console, too.
Well, there you go.
Sorry. Just trying to
Always selling. Always selling.
Make the best of it, Scott.
So let's talk about what people should be thinking about. I mean, this obviously is not the last time that a storm like this is going to come through. What sorts of things should people keep in mind in terms of being ready for disaster recovery, and in particular, having this ability with WheatNet IP, for instance, to be able to originate stuff from elsewhere, move things around on the fly as need be?
Well, a lot of the bigger groups right now are already installing infrastructure so they can do this. So instead of, you know, let's take example, we've got Curtis Media in Raleigh. Once we get the new setup here, they're going to be able to take control of New Bern from Raleigh, mixing, routing, and I think in a year or two, you're going to see these guys being able to take control of the transmitter sites from Raleigh, bypassing these cities, bypassing the studio that's underwater, so we don't have a console up with a fader on, with it on. We don't need to go through these local bureaus anymore. So I think the whole, connectivity thing, we're going to be going centralized broadcasting in the terms of automation, servers, telephone lines, and then we're going to go out to the bureaus or little silos out in the small cities. But yeah, I mean, in analog, it was guys with flashlights and patch bays and Chrome tools. Now it's anybody with TeamViewer on their phone. And and I hate to say this, yeah, we had a natural disaster, and these natural disasters are always going to happen. You really can't do much during a hurricane, all right? All you can do is prepare beforehand, then you choose whether you're going to ride it out and stay there, but it's all everything that comes afterwards.
Yeah.
Having the supplies, having diesel, having all that stuff staged in an area, so then you can come in there, because usually the infrastructure is pretty much shot. So
having a relationship with TV stations to provide weather coverage, making sure you can get that on the air when you need it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's times that the TV stations don't have transmission and they're feeding radio. They're because everybody with a battery-powered radio. In fact, the life of a hurricane, we know they're coming. It's like being hunted by a slow-moving turtle. So when it comes there, but you're in it and you're part of it. But no, I was very proud of New Bern. They recovered pretty well for as much damage as they had.
It was pretty emotional for me seeing the pictures on TV and knowing you guys down there and having been down there fairly recently.
I was in the Netherlands, so I was at IBC and I was watching it. I had my Ubiquity cams up. I was watching the water rise on my dock, giving instructions back home when to cut the power to the dock and stuff. But the last thing I was going to do was fly back into a hurricane. Yeah. Like I said, when it happens, there's nothing you can really do. But it's New Bern is wet. I always say the bear is wet. Yeah. And it'll take some while to dry out, but it was it was a pretty big event.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Jay Tyler, thanks so much. Good show for you here.
Awesome show. It was great. The thing about the radio show, it's radio people. All right. I feel compared radio show during NAB, I get to spend more time talking, BSing with the guys here, maybe a beer at the pub, but it's radio centric, and we're focused on that. When we go to the big show, there's the lights, there's circus girls, there's dancers, there's so many other things to distract us. But the thing about the radio show is it's like this small niche group of people that just come together for one event. So it's been good. Seen a lot of the mid and small market broadcasters that maybe don't have the ability to go to NAB. There's a lot of guys from Florida, the Panhandle that drove up, Miami guys are here. So yeah, it's really good. It was we had good traffic yesterday, good customers today. So a few more hours here, and then we're heading back.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Appreciate it very much, man. You guys take care.
Thanks.